Next to rock like Mick Foley. It's Nick Joby, kill him softly, play that shit slowly. On the keys like Tony, throwing subs, they get toasted. About my bread like a hoagie. This beat ice cold, look how I ride this Zamboni. I feel like old Tony good anyway. Yeah.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Earth Mac, the mad scientist.
And Vivo.
This is the Orange Phoenix Show. And I'm going to just say it took the strongest wills and a lot of perseverance.
And prayer.
And a lot of willpower to get through some episodes today. And we're so glad. We're so glad that this ride is over with and we can move on to the next anime. But today we definitely gonna be covering Brave Bang Bravern, which that is the anime that you saw in the thumbnail. And we're definitely gonna be covering Ninja Kamui episode 11. And also we're gonna be talking about the voting that you guys have, which is the next anime anime. Well, there's no plural for anime, but the next two anime we're going to cover, and an anime of our choosing, what we're going to cover as well. But Vivo, how are you today?
I'm jet lagged, tired, whatever. I am currently coming to you from Newport, Rhode Island. It's very pretty out here. People got Monday. Yes. Like, wow. But it's really pretty here. Like, this is definitely a great vacation spot.
A lot of people sleep on Rhode Island because it's relatively small. But I heard they had really good food up there too.
Yes. Listen, the
like
first thing
seafood.
I got was get my lobster roll. Granted, the sandwich was like $40, but it was a good $40. So
yeah, money well spent.
Yep.
Money well spent. So had a pretty good weekend, and obviously myself and Vivo looked over Brave Bang Bravern, and we decided to binge watch the rest of the season to go ahead and get that out the way. And we decided that, you know, the Geek Corner members were trolling us. It's like there's no other explanation. But it's like y'all really did troll us.
Listen, I told you this before we started filming, but I was in the airport trying to get caught up on these episodes, and I got to, was it episode 7 or 8 where they had the boxing match?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, cool. Nothing super weird is happening in these episodes, so I'm okay. Because I had my little iPad set up, and I was just leaning back watching my iPad. And we got to that one scene in the boxing match where they like fall on top of each other, and then Lewis like just grind tummy sticks.
Yeah.
I was like, the way I flipped my stuff.
See,
because I don't have a privacy screen. I don't have a privacy screen on my iPad, so everybody around me.
See, your first mistake was you watched it in the airport. Now, your experiences with Brave Bang Bravern or Triple B before we decided to binge watch, I was like, as soon as you told me that, yeah, I watched it in the airport, I'm like, this is not going to end well. Like, I hope you pass a certain episode and you nailed it on the head, and it was the boxing episode. I was like, oh, this is kind of tame. No, it's not. This is not tame at all. We really did feel like we got trolled on this one because, and I do love mecha anime, but the thing is with mecha anime is that as far as a top tier, as far as mecha anime, it's a short list. And other than Gundam, because Gundam is at the top of that list as far as mecha anime is concerned, as far as storytelling and lore and stuff like that, like they're at the top. And then, you know, you look at other obscure ones like Code Geass, and Code Geass is phenomenally good. And um Godanner is, I'll put it to you like this. Godanner is definitely better than Triple B. I will definitely say that. I would definitely say that. Yes, there's a lot of innuendos with Godanner, but it has sense. It doesn't go to the left too much, but it has serious tones in it, but it also have the comedic tones in it, but it also have the innuendos in it as well. It's almost like, I wouldn't say a perfect blend, but it's a good blend of it. So I mean, then you try to torture Superbia, which we already decided, like
when he got to that scene, I was like, what are they doing?
I was like, they try to waterboard a robot. Come on, man.
And then the torturer, he looked so like, he just looked so exhausted. Like, what did you think was gonna happen? He doesn't have lungs to breathe. So what? Okay.
Yeah, that was another fail. I mean, he was batting 1,000 when it comes to failures in torturing, and he looked at Asami. He was like,
I like how he had the help with the TSs with the waterboarding.
He was just like dumping buckets of water on Superbia. Superbia just sitting there. It was like, I'm getting washed. This is what it is right now. This was happening. And, you know, the torture guy, he apologized to Asami, like, I'm sorry, you know, and I put you through this and this, that, and the third. So Superbia is definitely an interesting character, and considering the fact that we learned that the pilots' life get drained out of them as they pilot the Death Drivers. So I was like, okay, we can get into a more serious tone. And then the other funny thing about it was when Bravern actually stabbed Superbia in the side, he was like, oh, now you can speak. Now you can talk. He was like, that what you did? You found an opening for him to speak? It's like,
he was like, we should at least hear our enemies out. Tommy was so mad. He was like, you could have used that opportunity to finish him off.
No, you could have killed this thing, man, already. And then, you know, when I was like on episode 10 or so, I was like, you know what? Bravern really do have a hero complex, because he prolongs these fights on purpose. Like, he has access to things. And like with fusion, he was like, yeah, you know, it's time for us to fusion. So I'm like, yeah, fusion. What? Fusion? And you notice though, have you noticed he was like Gunpla? He was like just clipping things, making things. It's almost like he was like putting things together.
Yes. Like first of all, wait, let's roll it back. First of all, he had his own room. He had his chair. He had his little desk workstation. And so I was sitting there watching this, like, when did he get all of this installed on the ship? Like, why does he have his own room? Why is he building model, like, why is he building Gundams? Why does he have Kamen Rider figurines? Like,
yeah.
He had like a legit collection. And he was like, oh, I have this ultra super high 3D printer. What? And that's how he was making all his weapons.
Yeah.
He 3D printed everything.
Like, oh yeah, I got a special 3D printer.
The human technology, we have that. Like, so we could just 3D print your weapons, and we could have been using those types of weapons all along before you came along. Okay.
You know what? I even thought about it that way. I was like, wait a minute, you 3D printing? That makes sense now, because you 3D print your own weapons. But at the same time, you could have been making weapons for everybody else. But I guess it doesn't work like it. Doesn't work that way. So
he could have built it, like, he could have upgraded all of the TSs into human created death drives.
What's your thoughts on the death driver? I think it's Nuth, the one that can like teleport, do time travel. Cause he like she killed the TS at least 5 or 6 times and kept rewinding it. Did you notice that?
Yeah. Well, at first, I didn't realize it was time manipulation. I thought she was just portaling him.
Yeah.
But it was basically, well, one, I thought that she was the epitome. Okay, so I didn't catch on to this. I wish I would have caught on to this sooner, but it wasn't until the end when they were fighting the final boss. Like, all of the death drives were representative of the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah.
Youth was lust. And oh boy, was she thirsty. And when she was...
Super.
When she told Lewis, she was like, I want you to make love to me. He was like, I'm sorry, what? He did a double take. He was like, huh? And
Lulu like,
I feel like the entire when she said that, the entire viewing audience was like, what? Because I know I was like, what?
Yeah. I put my phone down when she said it. I was like, I didn't pick up on that until the final boss showed up and explained it. I was like, oh, well, that does make sense now. But and then Lulu is being, who she is. Like, what does make love mean? What is that? He didn't acknowledge it. But damn, man, this anime was so weird, man. Like, it's like, kind of hard to.
It got to the point where it felt like they were just throwing stuff. They were shotgunning it, like whatever stuck to the wall. Like they were taking spaghetti and throwing it onto the wall, and whatever stuck. And because we went from finding out that Lewis is actually Bravern, and although he died, he basically willed himself back into existence using Newf's essence in some way, shape, or form to become Bravern, which is why he knew Asami from the jump. And then he sent himself back into time. But then when the future happened and him and Asami ended up actually dying, Lulu wanted to go back and change the past, and so they were able to pull the core out of him and somehow build a way for her to transport herself back into time as well, or at least her mind. And so there was like that shift where she was like learning languages, and then all of a sudden she was basically like able to have full coherent conversations, because the mind of her, like whatever, like 10 to 15 years in the future, got transferred back into. But I was watching this and I was like, what
has happened? Who signed off on this? How did
they even think they were on LSD when they came up with this?
Yeah, we can't blame it on marijuana, because marijuana don't make you trip like that. But shrooms,
and then
ayahuasca.
This entire thing where basically Bravern and Isami are not a platonic. They are not in a platonic relationship, which was confusing to me. So I'm like, so is Smith actually in love with Isami? Like, I'm really confused.
Yeah, it just didn't. So the way it ended,
and then the innuendo. Oh, and then the entire thing with Superbia and Lulu. I was like, can you not call him uncle? Now that you have reached a new stage in your relationship, I guess, like, that's weird. That's even weirder.
It's really hard to grasp. We're trying to make sense out of some of it, because, finding out that Lewis was actually Bravern, I was like, that explains why in the second episode, I think when he tried to join Bravern, he was like, no, can't do that. And we get that explanation. But the whole time travel thing, and we learned about Lewis being braver, and it was like, it makes sense, but then again, it doesn't make sense. And then the fact that you came back at the end where we thought you were dead and your essence just lived inside. Yeah, you know? And Lulu being older, and she was like, yeah, I'm going to go back in time to prevent, you know, Asami's death or whatever the case may be. I was like, okay, I'm ready for this anime to be over. It's nothing else. Because I tried to make...
The thing is if you're going to put... I just don't... If characters like the... If you're going to build relationships between the characters, make them make sense.
Yeah.
Because
it can...
if Asami was going to be with Lewis or Brave/Bravern, then okay, but the additional intrigue with us now finding out that Bravern is active, I was so
very
like I was so confused.
It was a lot. It was a lot. I mean, this doesn't help the mecha anime argument. It doesn't. It's not one of those.
The ending was everybody's naked on the beach.
Yeah. I'm like, this doesn't help the argument at all. Like, it's like there's a reason why Gundam stands the test of time as far as mecha anime. Now, I know I mentioned Go Down before. It's not on Crunchyroll. It's not on Hulu. I found out Esclaflowne is not on Crunchyroll anymore. I'm looking for it. I didn't even see it. But Go Downer is something that you have to go on like the anime websites and actually watch. But that one's actually pretty good. That's actually pretty decent. But I expected more out of this anime, honestly, because the first episode really did grab me. It really caught my attention. And I was like, if you kind of kept it in that tone, it would have been fine. But it felt as though that throughout the 12 episode span, that, like you said, it was grasping straws. Like they were just throwing stuff to the wall. Like, let's do this, let's do that. Okay, we almost at the 12th episode. Let's wrap all this up, and let's somehow miraculously bring Smith back.
Honestly,
whereas I feel like, I feel like if you would have left Smith dead, it probably like left a bigger impact, or like just have like an image of him in the sky, like kind of like looking down, you know, that kind of thing, or have like a sad send off to Bravern, since we know Bravern is Smith.
And it was dialogue. Interesting too, because the way that the anime started out with that monologue about how I've always wanted to be a hero. I feel like I personally thought it was always, well, let me back up. I wasn't sure who it was. Yeah. I initially thought it was Asami, but it was really Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
Which when I figured that out, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Because then you got like some of his background and stuff. But I started getting actually interested when Superbia was talking. Like that whole interaction with them, I was like, oh, this is actually,
because Superbia just want to fight. You're like, listen, I just want to, and like I want to have a glorious battle with Bravern. And then, I mean, as far as the animation style choice, that was a good choice. Like, as far as how Bravern's depicted, like the mecha battles was actually pretty tight. I would definitely say that. That's one positive out of that show, is like the mecha battles is pretty good. It's probably, I wouldn't say one of the best I've ever seen, but it's definitely one of the better, honestly, because most people lazily, I keep saying lazily, but go to CG animation, and I feel like CG animation is a lot easier to put out there. And if you try to do hands-on animation, especially with certain fight scenes, I know it's going to take a very long time, to put that on paper and to put that on screen. But with mecha battles, I feel like it should be that. Like it should be more hand drawn, a little less CGI, but hybrid the two, and then you got yourself a good mecha anime. But like Macross Plus is a good mecha anime. But either way, the animation style was good. The story needed work for sure.
A lot.
And that's, like you said, there's some things that made sense, and there's a shit ton that didn't make any sense.
Yeah, it was almost like the story started off and like with some semblance of sense, sort of, and then it just evolved.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And honestly, I didn't like his fusion.
Anytime it did this, you didn't like the fusion? Okay.
No. Because it reminded me too much of like Power Rangers and Zords or Voltron and then it was like the exact same animation except like different colors. And I was like, why are you doing the exact same move over and over again?
Listen, when he showed his banner, he definitely was spamming the fusion though. He was spamming the fusion. I like the fusion though, man. I know when it was gonna be fusion, I was like, they're gonna do some OP kind of thing, and then when he does this pose, but then his banner just shows up, and you see it from a distance. The commander is hilarious to me. Like when they did the fusion for the first time, he was like, "Dear God!"
Yes,
he said that.
I also didn't like it only because it made Bravern look super chunky, like clunky.
Yeah.
I was like, I like the more streamlined design. That's probably why Superbia is also my favorite one. I really like Superbia.
Yeah, Superbia was actually pretty dope. Like Nuth was actually pretty dope too. Other than her, her lust, her dialogue or whatever. But anytime they're like in these big robot, shows or whatever, then anytime there's fusion, it's like it about to be some OP shit. And then whoever that person is across from them, they have to die. Like there's no other alternative. So I think this anime, honestly, on the flip end, is designed to make fun of other mecha shows. And it's kind of like poking fun at it.
Well,
but we're going to have our own story.
When we first started watching it, I was like, is this a joke anime? It feels like a joke, yeah. And we get to the end, and that's what it is.
That's what it is. We got you for 12 episodes. Now, then we're gonna cap it off with that. Like, what else is like a joke anime is Excel Saga. That's a really good joke anime.
Did I watch all of that one?
What,
that came out Saga? In early mid 2000s?
Ooh, no.
Oh no, maybe.
Excel Saga came out, I would say in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. 1996.
Why did I think they did like a reboot of it?
Yeah. No. It came out in 99, anime wise. 99 to 2000, 26 episodes. But it came out in 96 as far as the manga is concerned.
Okay.
But it's definitely a comedy anime. But you can find that on Crunchyroll. So, thank God we are done with Brave Bang Bravern, man. It definitely wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And for people that have watched it, I don't think they thought it was going to be what it was going to be, but it is what it is on that standpoint. But going to the results of our anime watch list, the winner of the voting is Go Go Loser Ranger, which is on Hulu. It won by 44%. And Windbreakers, I know it says down there it's 15%. I know that's on the YouTube community page, but there's 2 more votes for that, and I was like, you can might as well say about 25% in that standpoint. But it's still technically in that range. Is still in third place. Kaiju number 8 is at 34%. Came in second place. I'm gonna tell you right now, Remonster started out as number 1. It started out as that, and then the meters just started moving back and forth. So, starting next week, we definitely gonna catch up on some Go Losing Ranger. It's only 3 episodes out right now. It's on Hulu, only, and we're gonna catch up and talk about the first 3 episodes of Go Losing Ranger, which I'm on. I'm halfway through the second episode of it, and I actually kind of like it. Those some evil bastards though. The Dragon Keepers, like they. This ain't your daddy's Power Rangers. I tell you that. They are not the good guys. They are not. They are not the good guys at all. And also Kaiju number 8 is not our number 2. So it'll be Go Losing Ranger and Kaiju number 8 is our next 2 anime we're gonna cover, starting with Go Losing Ranger next week. And Ninja Kamui episode 12 is next week as well. So following episode 12, Ninja Kamui, we definitely gonna cover Kaiju number 8. And then we picking an anime of our choosing. Like we choosing the anime we're gonna go watch, and from start to finish. So all that will be on Monday. And speaking on Ninja Kamui, episode 11. I am so happy, Vivo.
Listen,
I am so happy.
Episode 11 delivered on all those points we were talking about last week, and we were like, well, where's the rest? Like, why didn't they do it? Yes. Episode 11. We were like, oh, thank you. Listen. And that was great. We got to see both of their secret arts and straight hands. No Kusoku gear from them. It was great.
I never seen the viewpoints change like that during the fight. It switched from like first person to third.
Yep.
I was like, yo, this is dope. I'm like, why couldn't you stick with this the whole freaking show? I'm like, why couldn't you do that? Man, I talked to some people offline, like in the Geek Corner, and it said that Ninja Kamui kind of fell off for them because of the Kosoku gear being used. That was the general consensus. It was like, it kind of fell off for me, and I was like, what was it? Was it the mech fights? And it was like, yeah, it definitely was that. Because, seeing the hand-to-hand combat, I mean, of course, we already know animation is expensive, but still yet, man, you sold us with the trailer, the first couple episodes on what this thing could be. And we was tuned in. And it pivoted. That wasn't a good business decision. But either way. What you thought about this episode? Episode 11.
Post-fight. I really liked it because, listen, basically, so Zai has Thunderclap and Flash, and Higan has Domain Expansion. But it was really good. But I think my favorite part of it was kind of the flashbacks and Zai having some kind of a realization.
Yeah.
Like one, we know that he was disciplined because he allowed Higan and Marie to escape. And that's why they disfigured him and he was wearing the mask. But then also watching, like, I knew that they were going to have this, it was either going to be a fight to the death or it was going to be a fight until one of them came to a realization. And it looks like that is what is going to happen with Zai, that, he has the organization on this pedestal, and it's a shaky pedestal, but he refuses to see the cracks in it. But after this fight with Higan, I think that now he's starting to, especially the words that Higan left him with, that Marie said. I mean, there's going to be some growth there, and I'm interested to see what decision he makes in the last episode. I also really wanted to see Dilly in action.
Dilly.
She's the
bodyguard
for, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We only saw a little bit. I mean, she was
body. She was throwing hands. She took a gunshot to the hand and didn't flinch. And she look at Joseph like, if I really want to kill you, I would have killed you by now.
I'm just like, why do you like him? Like, why?
I think they was doing some. I think they was doing the nasty behind closed doors, because I think they was insinuating that, and Joseph never did talk about it outright, but it seems as though some things that he was saying, because I was picked up on little hints.
I feel like I kind of picked up on it too, but my thing is like, why? Like, you are an Amazon warrior, like, him of all people.
Pete Davidson was with Kim Kardashian.
You know what? We're not going to use him as an example because he has a natural amount of riz.
I'm just saying, though. I'm just saying.
But she threw him out the window. I was like, yes, retribution. But then she saved him, and I was like,
yeah.
I was like, oh, he's getting away. But the way Yamaji rolled up, listen. Yamaji was already 10 steps ahead of him. And when he like destroyed his own building and then rolled up to Alza and then just started killing staff.
Yeah.
Coming for Joseph, and then Joseph had he freaked out. I was like, this makes my heart happy because Joseph is finally gonna get his comeuppance. He hasn't gotten them yet, but I feel like we're gonna see them. I hope.
Yeah.
Don't let them if they let him get away in the last episode, I'm gonna be so irritated.
Yeah, I think he's gonna die in the worst way, man. I mean, he's such an annoying character. And you're right, Yamaji was 3 steps ahead, and the way Joseph got tossed at the window, though, man, he got tossed out like a baseball. I mean, she's straight.
Sack of potatoes. The way she picked him up like an old sack of potatoes too.
Yeah.
He's talking about, I got your back. She's like, okay, but I can handle them even if you miss. So.
Yeah, right. Like, you could have let that man have some pride. Nah. Like, you're not needed here, but you can shoot whatever you like, I guess. Whatever. Yamaji being, 10 steps ahead and doing what he doing. I could have sworn like Yamaji was gonna get his hands on this kid and and just end him, but I wanted to see the fight. What's going to happen to like the bodyguard. I mean, is she going to die? I feel like she will die, and I feel like he's gonna present her body to Joseph. Like, you got no one else to protect you at this standpoint. Like, what are you going to do? Morris, playing decoy, that was another thing, and getting arrested. I don't know how long he's gonna be arrested. So the program could get hacked into. Hopefully we don't go back to the Kosoku gear. I don't think that's what Yamaji's aim. I think his aim was the money anyway, just to further expand. As far as like Zai, like, I feel like Zai will die this week. Like, he's gonna die in the next episode. Like, the realization he's going to have as far as helping Joe Hagan, he's gonna do it in the ultimate sacrificial type of way, because there's nothing else for Joe other than Zai. Like, if like, how we've saying, like, okay, if Emma lives, then we know Joe's going to, but if Emma don't, then But this time it's Zai too. So if Zai kicks the bucket, then we kind of know that Joe's going to do the same, or he's going to at least finish the job first. Then he's going to, take his rest and be done.
And when you were watching the fight, did you get how the way that they choreographed the fight? There were some scenes where it was almost like Joe or Hagan wasn't going all out, and Zai was attacking purely out of anger. And then as they have the conversation with each other, as they're exchanging blows, it comes to light that, Zai was pissed off. He felt betrayed, not, especially because those were the first people that he really felt that he could open himself up to.
Mm-hmm.
But Joe told him, he was like, we still wanted to go on this journey with you. And then Zygai was like, that's bullshit. And then, fight continued. But
yeah,
the way that they choreographed that fight, it was you could I saw that Zai was fighting out of anger, whereas Joe was kind of fighting out of like survival.
Yeah.
Not necessarily to kill Zai, because he didn't.
Yeah.
He very well could have killed Zai and eliminated that threat, but he didn't. Yeah. He wasn't trying to kill him. Zai was trying to kill. Well, I don't even know that Zai was really trying to kill Higan, but I mean, like that.
It looks as though that, like you saying, he's fighting to survive, but he also let Zai let all his anger out.
Yes. Yep.
Technically. Because if you really think about Zai's character, he's caught between a rock and a hard place. Mm-hmm. Like, Yamaji's the one who saved his life and put him on in the ninja. So, with the clan, and then he meets Mori, he meets Joe, and he befriends them. But who do you go with? The person that brought you into this, or the people that actually showing you there's better out there? But this is all you know. This is all you've been taught. So, and Joe was like, which Zai had a legitimate question. Why did you take the oath in the first place then? Which I don't think Joe fully answered that question. I think they just kept on fighting. But that was a legit question that Zai asked though. Like,
I think he answered it. He also got the sake cups that they used when they took the oath. He got the design of those cups tattooed on his back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Zai was like, what is that? And then Joe was like, we wanted to go on this journey with you, and we still want to see these new horizons.
That was Zai's Martha moment. Why did you say that name? Why did you say Martha? When I saw that, that's why I immediately went to Batman versus Superman. I immediately went there, and I was like, somebody's a DC fan. He's like, why is that there? What the hell is that? He's like, nah, man, this for memories for the three of us, dude. He's like, that's bullshit. I'm gonna fight you anyway. But I am glad we got to see the secret techniques, because now we got one more episode left, and how this thing is going to end, it's going to be crazy. I feel like it's going to be a whole lot of things going on in that 30-minute time span. And I'm trying to figure out how are they going to wrap this up into this little bow for 30 minutes.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about Higan's secret art, it's not necessarily like domain expand. Well, it could be. But it also could be likened to 64 Palm from Naruto.
You know what? That's not a bad comparison. Because, I mean, he was ultra sensitive to what was going on. So, actually, no. We got 2 more episodes, if I'm not mistaken. So we got 13. So we got 2 more episodes.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, great. We got 2 more episodes. I had to double check, but which is an odd number though, because typically it'd be 12. But yeah, so they're going to end it. They're going to end it, man.
No, 13. I think 13 is pretty. Because sometimes, when they do the entire, it's like 26 episodes.
Yeah.
Standard. So. Well, that. Yeah. I mean, then that means that there'll be even more. Hopefully, they'll be able to button this up in a way that is not everybody dies at the end. Like, please don't do that to us. Please.
Don't Cyberpunk Edge Runners us. Don't kill us.
No.
Don't do that.
Those are 2 anime that after you finish watching, you just closed your laptop and sat there for like.
You're like, I'm gonna just sit here in the dark for 15 minutes.
Like, I need to go to the bar and talk to the bartender while they pour me drinks because I'm that depressed.
Yes. Yes, and like I gotta find some feel good anime, man. What did I end up watching to cleanse my palate of that? Because I watched Akame got killed twice. I watched it
Why?
twice,
Why would you do
not
that?
back to back, but I watched it twice. When did I watch? The first time I watched it, it was like the early days,
Okay.
and then I was like, shit, man, this is heavy, and then I would say maybe a few years ago I watched it again. I don't know what possessed me to do that. I don't know what did it, but I watched it from start to finish, and I was like, "This thing is still sucks, man."
You're like, I
it's,
already know what's gonna happen, but damn.
it still sucks, and it because if the manga is different, like the manga ends differently, and yes, people do die. Some people do die, and and the most iconic death is the head on the pipe, with the girl with the headphones.
Listen, the way they did her, I was like, I know she was shady, but damn.
Yeah, but no, she was the cutest one. Like she was the
Yeah.
one that always had. And then the way she got
Her Leon
found in
was it
rain.
what was her name? Leonis?
Thinking Leonis.
She was my
Um,
favorite.
I'm like
And
Jesus
she died
Christ.
real early. I was like, why?
And the manga ended differently. Like the main character actually lived.
Tatsumi?
Yeah, Tatsumi actually lived. I
That makes me
think
nervous.
if I remember correctly, I think him and Akami were were married or something like that. It was something
See,
crazy.
and that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So man, it was yeah. Throw that whole thing away, man. I mean, do that. Get that anime to somebody you don't like. Like get it. Sometimes you don't wish anime on certain type of anime on your worst enemy. Nah, that's petty work right there. Comic could kill. You send that to your worst enemy. Let them watch that.
Or Berserk.
Or Berserk.
But Berserk is actually
Jesus.
really good. It's really
It's really good, but it's really bad. And it hurts so good. It hurts.
there's another anime that's fairly recent called Monster. I think it's still on Netflix. It's about a
Yes.
serial killer. I gotta
Yes.
watch that. I heard that one was like kind of one of the
This is Christopher Nolan type work.
okay.
This Christopher Nolan, Mark Scorsese. That what Monster is to me. Like that thing is
Okay.
masterful work. Masterful work on that one. It's a psychological thriller. That's the only way I can really describe it. What's funny? Also over the weekend, that my girlfriend and the kid was here over the weekend, and I was trying to find some single player things for him to play, and he got a PS4, so the struggle's real. And so I looked at Marvel Snap because he got an iPad too, which is a battle card game. So I got that too, and then I dived down the rabbit hole. So I ended up not buying because it's free. Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, which is on Steam. You can get it on your phone, and so I started going down the rabbit hole. So I'm the first to say, like, I haven't watched Yu-Gi-Oh! In its entirety. Like, I just haven't. Not because I don't like it, but I do know that the uncut Yu-Gi-Oh! And the Yu-Gi-Oh! On Fox Kids are vastly different.
Yep.
Like, people pulling out toolies, pointing guns at people. And Shadow Realm is the Shadow Realm. You get sent to hell if you lose dual monsters or whatever. But either way, so I dived down the rabbit hole of Master Duel, and I'm talking like to a rabbit hole to the point where I did get Fallout 4. I was going to get BioShock Infinite because I wanted, just to dabble in some BioShock, right? And then I put that to the side for a minute and played Master Duels, and I was like, man, I kind of dig this card game because it's time consuming. It makes you think, and I don't fully understand Yu-Gi-Oh as a card game, but I understand it enough, like on the computer, where I just experiment with certain things because I'm playing solo, and then because when you were playing solo, you can earn like deck builds and stuff like that. So I'm trying to get a Dark Magician deck.
Listen, I wish I remembered how to play the game because I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh back in the day.
Seriously?
Yep.
For real?
I used to.
Used to beat people's asses in Yu-Gi-Oh?
Man, I tried. I tried.
Did you see that video clip where the dude was playing Yu-Gi-Oh and when he was playing against a guy and then he got damage dealt to him and he actually acted like he took damage. He's like, oh, he actually did the sound. And he was playing like in the tournament. So you side by side with the person next to you, right? And dude was like playing card, and he kind of like glanced over and just started chuckling. And he did it like he's like, oh snap! And so I gotta find that video clip, man, because that is an iconic video clip in the anime community. So I'm gonna dig in that rabbit hole. And so next week for anime, we definitely going to cover Go-Go Loser Ranger and episode 12 of Ninja Kamui, and then Kaiju no 8. And then once Ninja Kamui ends, we're going to have our anime of our choosing and what we're going to do. So you got anything else for the listeners out there, Vivo?
Nope, I think we covered everything, so we will continue to keep an eye out for any new and interesting developments in the comic, anime, video game, world, and we will be sure to report on those developments.
Yeah, and before we go, I'm going to hit the music right quick. I'm going to get on my soapbox. And 'cause I said it on TikTok, and I said it on TikTok to the point I was like, listen, I want this to go viral, but not for the reasons that you think. So I'm going to say it on the show. It is con season, ladies and gentlemen. And you got spring, summer, and, things are heating up. And I think on behalf of the anime community, the comic book community, the video game community, the conventions, I feel like 95% of us feel this way. If you get up in the morning, you put on clothes, and you decide to go to the convention, notice I skipped a very important part. There's a small percentage of you people that are out there that don't wash. We need you to wash. Please wash your behind, because hey, you're being very selfish. I'm gonna just tell it to you like it is. You're being selfish out here in these streets, man. You smelling like onions, old broccoli, and old bologna, and old cheese. Like, don't be out here in these streets stinking up the joint in the hallways and the artist alley and in the dealer's room and everything else in between. Like, don't do that. Then you got people that are newcomers, right? And thinking that this whole convention is funky, and it's just some of you small percentage people. Go out there and wash. You sitting in the hotel. You got shampoo, you got lotions, you got soaps, and you got all kinds of stuff. Go wash your ass before you go into the convention. Don't do us a disservice, ladies and gentlemen. Do yourself a service and wash your ass. Now, that is our show for today. And we will be back tomorrow for some pro wrestling talk, because AEW Dynasty was this past Sunday, and man, oh man, did it deliver. And I mean deliver to the highest of points. And I will have a co-host on the show. His name is Alvin Staley. He will be our permanent co-host going forward when it comes to pro wrestling talk. So until next time, y'all, peace.